I come from what as Louis was talking about, a business person. I call it the real world. I spend my whole life in the real world. And by that, I guess this is a sidebar, because everybody, when I first ran, and some of you will relate to this, all my business friends said, "What are you doing, first of all? You lost your head. Why do you want to get in the political world?" Sue and I were born here. We went to high school together, got married out of college, and I love this little state. And just always sort of felt that, like a lot of businesses, a great state with great potential, great bones, if you will, but badly run. And badly run for a long time. And so we made the joint decision to try and do something about that and see if we could get this place better run. My point is, and I think this goes to a lot of our messaging, because a lot of my business friends afterward, probably after a few years, came to me and said, "Don, what's the difference? What's the difference between the private sector, the Joe and the public sector?" Which is a great question. I mean, you can go on and on and on and make it really complicated, and I thought about it, and I said, I boiled it down to one thing. I said, in the private sector, and whether that's whether it's a for-profit corporation or not-for-profit, hospital, university, whatever, but I said in the private sector, the cash is real. The cash is real. All right, think about it for a moment, because I'm serious. I think this goes to the core of what one of our basic problems is and what's happening right now. In the public sector, and after 7 years at this job, the cash isn't real. It's just a number on a piece of paper. It means nothing. It means nothing. And as I said, if we're honest with ourselves about all of the organizations that you work for, as I said, in the private sector, what drives you to be better at what you do? What drives you to be smarter about how you invest the money, better customer service, more inventive and creative in terms of new products coming out? What drives that at the end of the day? And what motivates the whole organization to excel is you don't want to go to the bank looking for money. Right? It's true. And unfortunately, in the public sector, there is no such motivator. There is no such motivator. And look at what's happening to us right now. I mean, trillions roll off the tongue like billions used to. And we can't get our mind around. I challenge you to try and get your mind around what $1 trillion really means. You can't, can you? I mean, I'm one of these nuts. I was a math teacher when I got out of Brown. And I was playing a game with myself one day. I said, well, if you take a silver dollar, all right, it's about 1 inch in diameter. And I said, if you strung them, length to length, side by side, how many would $1 trillion be? Right? I figured out that it would go around the entire Earth, 25,000 miles, 60 times. I think it's more than that, all right? I figured out you go back from here to the moon and back again. I think it was 20 times. All right? I mean, it's impossible to get your mind around what $1 trillion means. And yet, that's the whole frame of reference right now at the national level in the national debate. Coming back to what are we doing? What, as Louis said, what I've been trying to do, and I think all the good Republican governors in the country right now are trying to do, is manage our way through this tough time, like you do anything else. And the way you do that is just figure out how you contract your costs, how you squeeze, where you can squeeze, but don't add to the burden of our citizens. And I'm proud to say we have not raised any broad-based taxes in Rhode Island, all right, since I've been governor. In fact, we're bringing the income tax down with a flat tax option. Why? Because you're probably getting the sense of where I come from, which I think is where the Republican Party comes from, and one of the strengths. We're really the party of hardworking people. Okay? We're the party of people who understand, if you work hard, get a good education, have a good family, all right, that you will succeed in life, that that you will prosper. We, I believe, are the party of the middle class, hardworking people. And by the way, my dad was a school teacher for 38 years. He was a teacher and coach. Sue's dad shellfished out here in Narragansett Bay. He died of a heart attack at 47. Her mother had to raise 4 children. She's the oldest. Never remarried. We didn't come from an easy time. But what we came from, and both of us were the only ones in our families who went to college. She went to URI, I went to Brown. In Rhode Island, we call it a mixed marriage. In fact, I've got to leave here. I can't stay for the whole day because I'd love to, because today's the Governor's Cup. Brown and URI play. I play football. I play football for Brown. All right, and so it is a tough day for me. I spent half the game, I don't know, I'll have to swim up there today. Half the game on one side, the other half on the other side, because at the end of the game I have to give the Governor's Cup to the winner. And I have to smile if it's URI, because it's a state university and my wife's alma mater. I have to hold inside the giddiness when it's Brown. It's a tough day for me. But in any event, you can tell it. Where I come from, and where I think we as a party come from, are some basic principles that I think this nation is losing its way on, frankly, right now. Which are those principles, as I said, of self-reliance, all right, of less government, not more. Right now, we're at, I think, one of a cataclysmic time of conflict, and why I think this is such a great time for us as Republicans. All right? Because the tug of war, the battle right now is what do you want our nation to be? And right now we have an administration that is convinced that the solution to all of our problems as a nation is for government. Government to do those things. And government to intrude more and more and more and more. Well, I can honestly say after 7 years of managing a small government, I have real difficulty saying anything that we on the public sector do well. No, I mean, that's sad to say, and it's not that there aren't good people, but by the nature of the beast, if you will, it does not motivate people. It doesn't bring out the best in people. And in fact, it has the opposite. In our state and many of your states where public sector unions have proliferated, and we got them, in case you haven't read the paper, I've got a few battles right now going on, but it is huge. And they have actually the effect of continuing to diminish the efficiency, the effectiveness, and the morale, frankly, of the public sector employees. So you get on the one side a whole mindset that believes that the solution for us as a nation and all of our problems is to have government do it. And on the other side, keeping my wife just said, cash isn't real, there's no motivation, nothing to drive people to do better. On the other side, there's those of us, and by the way, I think conservatism is a good word. It's a good word. Think of its derivation, conserve, preserve. It means stewardship for the future. It means leaving the place better. Passing on to our children and grandchildren something better than we have today. Those are good things. And so it's a battle right now between the sense of what we need to do is unleash the creativity of us, the power of us as individuals, and not burden us and expect that government is going to take care. Why are they doing this? You know why they're doing it. You create dependency. And if you create dependency, that ensures your re-election. Because the more people that are dependent upon government, then the government class, if you will, gets perpetuated. So it really is a philosophical major battle right now that is enjoined. And you see it in the stimulus, you see it in the healthcare debate, and you're going to see it permeating all the debates as we go forward with this administration. So this is the time, as I said, I think it's a great time for us